Obscura, a podcast dedicated to the lore, legends, and myths surrounding the creatures that may lurk in your backyard. My name's Hewitt.
I'm Chris. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we're planning a trip.
We are planning a trip. We're going to Hot Springs, which for us is not like super far away, but I mean, it's a good respite from where we...
Yeah, we're going to go with Goosehead Jed.
Yeah, one of our friends. He's in my game.
He's going to be running a game.
He's going to be running a game.
By the time this is out, he's already run a game.
It's probably already run. It's already back on my game. Unless it's not.
There's a chance of that, yeah.
But...
there's a chance it's Nathan's game.
I don't know about that. No offense, Nathan. Love you, buddy. There's a chance we might be at his wedding by the time this comes out.
Oh, wow. Wow, do we have that many episodes in the can?
We have a few. But
Dang.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it.
Putt-putt.
Yeah.
Hit the bathhouse. Hit the beer house.
Pizza.
Sleep at a tiny home.
Yeah. And just enjoy Hot Springs because, I mean, it's a small, quaint place, but it's also in a nice, beautiful area.
Go to the olive oil store. I've been told I have to go to the olive oil store.
Just, you get so much olive oil there.
But it's flavored. Like, we have garlic cilantro that we've been using since Em and I went there for our anniversary.
Soap place there the last time I went. That was pretty good.
It is. It's still there. We will definitely have to also go to the retro shop that has all the poodle skirts and 1950s vibes for the ladies, but giant, stupid Hawaiian shirts for dudes.
So are we having to buy... Am I going to have to, like, get more money for the stupid Hawaiian shirt?
There's a chance of that, yes.
Okay. Well, that's fair. That's fair. As long as they have the goth one, you know.
I'm pretty sure they do. There's one that I wanted that was very much Fallout vibe, but they didn't have it in 3X for fat boys like me.
Oh, you're not that fat, buddy. But you want to hear a cool story?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how much do you know about the Dover Demon?
I know it was on an episode of Lost Tapes on Animal Planet.
Yeah, it was, actually. I didn't watch that episode with this, but...
It's so worth it because it's so bad.
I thought about... This is one of the few episodes where I didn't, like, go to YouTube to actually look things up. Because a lot of the information I could have crossed tabs on, like, websites.
Uh-huh.
And I also, just a disclaimer, like, between work and health and all other things.
Stop making excuses and just tell me about this creepy little gremlin.
I'm sorry, everybody. Anyway, so this is a creature that is speculated to be about 3 feet tall, alien-like appearance, big, ginormous head.
I'm seeing the picture.
Yeah, I got pictures. Yeah, and he's supposed to be have orange or green eyes, but he doesn't have any other facial features. So he looks literally just like this picture I'm showing.
It's a gray with no mouth. That's
yeah.
Oh, but he's got some spots on his back, so he's got some.
I think that's just artifacting.
Oh, that's just artifacting of
because they said it had the creature itself.
It's drawn on graph paper.
Yeah, so it has what the witnesses said, smooth, like sandpapery like skin, either gray or sort of a light tannish skin color.
So he looks like a scrotum.
Almost like a scrotum, yeah. He's a walking scrotum. I mean, I think only one person said it was sandpapery skin, but I will get to that. So
you're saying he's a smooth scrotum?
Yeah. Emaciated body with spindly fingers. He got them long fingies.
Is he salad fingers?
He's salad fingers. He's like, I don't know how salad fingers sounds. I actually never watched that.
I didn't either, but apparently that's making a comeback with Zoomers.
Go Zoomers, getting that old school Flash stuff in. But yeah, similar to the infield horror, I'm once again getting into something that is a brief window of time. So this is something, like, when I first researched this, I had heard about it. Like, it's kind of like Dover Demon. I think if you know about cryptozoology, or if you're at least like put your foot into it, you know about Dover Demon. You heard about it. I was thinking there was more to it, but it's actually like the infield horror. It is a snapshot in time where it's just 3 witnesses that are mostly mentioned. I mean, technically there's 4 or 5 depending on how you want to do it, but it's within a 24-hour period that this event happened. And the main people are 3 different teenagers in Dover, Massachusetts, that's why it's called the Dover Demon. But we will have a reappearance from someone else I mentioned.
Ooh.
Lauren Coleman. We talked about him in the Field Horror.
The cryptozoologist?
Yeah. Which I didn't know at the time. He shows how much I know about this ship, because apparently he's a pretty established cryptozoologist. Has a whole Wikipedia page, and I didn't bother to look him up in Field Horror.
Talking about connections, something that I'm going to be looking into. Did you know that Luton has some cousins?
Oh no!
Yeah,
Do they steal socks?
They're in Detroit.
Oh, well, Michigan. I like Michigan.
Michigan's okay.
Yeah, okay, I won't get political.
They apparently try to kidnap their governors.
Well, no, I was going to say I like the governor of Michigan.
I was just going to talk smack on some people. I do want to go to Mackinac Island, though.
Mackinac. That's on the Great Lake?
Yeah, that's like the bridge bends at Mackinac. Like, you got to take a boat to get to it. Okay, you might have to cut this out. You could leave this in. The idea that the only way to get to the part of the United States I live in is a boat, and that horse-drawn carriages are still active in that area, is very appealing to me, because it means what happened. Hewitt went off into the lake, and then what happened? He's happy.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that Michigan was one of those states that we initially looked at in terms of moving, because I don't know.
There's a big difference between UP and the Mitten, though.
Yeah, true, yeah. But anyway, so there are 3 different accounts or witnesses that are the main people in this, and they are all 3 teenagers. Mm-hmm. Now, I know you're going to say, oh, teenagers, they make shit up.
They got that wacky lettuce.
They got all those things. When Lauren Coleman went in there, he talked with everybody. He did an official investigation. He actually brought in some ufologists and everything to kind of look over the town, and they asked everybody about these teenagers. Everyone's like, they're not the kind of teenagers to lie about things. These kids are good kids.
Yeah. They've been the Johnsons, boy.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, no matter who they talk to, from the school principal to their teachers to their parents to their cousins, uncles.
Wait, this dude did a full
Yeah, apparently Lauren Coleman went all over this. I mean, it's I think it was a 5,000 person town, so it's not
that's still 5,000 people.
That's still 5,000 people, but if you're cross-tabbing between 3 witnesses to try and figure out a little bit about them, it's not going to be that hard. But yeah, generally they were well-to-do kids. They didn't try to do anything. But the first one we're going to talk about, 17-year-old Bill Bartlett, and 17 years old in 1977. So we're talking about release of Star Wars and everything. So Bill Bartlett was driving with friends to find something to do in the town of Dover, Massachusetts, and he saw the creature crawling on what he said was a stone wall. For 8 seconds, he saw it in his headlights, illuminated by the headlights. And he said that the eyes glowed orange, like you would see shining like a light on an animal. So, to me, skeptic brain, eye shine. So any sort of animal you think of, that's...
To be fair, I'm still thinking of what creature would be in the size category. I'd even half it to 2 feet long, 1.5 foot long. I'm not thinking of too many things up in New England that...
Yeah.
I mean,
now,
unless there's one fat-ass raccoon.
It could have been a fat-ass raccoon, but to get into it, there's not many creatures in that area that would be that size, 2.5 to 3.5 feet.
Exactly. That's
that would crawl on a stone wall.
I mean, now, have you seen how big a Maine Coon cat is?
Maine Coon cats are pretty big. Yeah.
They also look like Ron Perlman. I could understand maybe misidentifying one of those, but The picture, this thing is smooth skin. Those cats got some hair.
Yeah, so, despite having friends in the car, like he had a few friends in the car, they didn't see it, and when he was like, did y'all see that? And, they talked about it, so it's like, we didn't see it, can we go back and see it? And after coaxing him to go back, because he didn't want to go back and see it.
This is how you get killed by peer pressure, kids.
Yeah, so they went back to try and find it. They couldn't find it, but he was still rattled by the situation. So he decided, after he brought all of his friends home, he decided to sketch it down. Now, this is one of the sketches that the kid made, actually. So this, apparently, all the stories I hear about Bill Bartlett is that he is a great artist and he has somewhat of a photographic memory. So as soon as he got home, still rattled, he sketched it out. He actually has one or two sketches. This is one of the two sketches I have.
I see the second one now.
Yeah, this is actually his second sketch. I think this was his initial sketch, which y'all can't see because this is a podcast.
The audio format is not great for images. But it is a wonderful depiction with what I'm assuming is a ballpoint pen.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like this one looks a lot more straightforward. It's just like, I'm just going to pump this out, get it done.
Boy had a big head, was skinny with long legs and arms with
and
a
this
bunch
one,
of fingers. And
this one looks like he kind of put a little bit more thought into it and kind of, because he has doing other things. But this one is like, this is what I saw. And what he saw was something with almost a watermelon or a peanut shaped head, big eyes, no other facial features. And these long arms with these spindly digits, crawling on all fours. Now, John Baxter, age 15 at the time, this is, okay, so they say the kids are pretty reliable in terms of witnesses. So even if they're being honest, or even if they didn't see what they said they saw, they're being honest about how they perceived it. So here is where divergence, but still there's a lot of intersectional parts into the story. So John Baxter, who was age 15, was walking home from his girlfriend's house when he saw the creature. This time it was bipedal. And funnily enough, he thought it was a friend because he said this friend had a larger than average head.
Oh my god.
Now, I didn't include the friend's name, but they actually had the friend's name in all the articles.
Wow.
And I felt bad. I was like, I'm not going to...
Yo, John has a massive noggin.
It's like, yo, Bill over there, look at his fucking head. Shh.
Poor Bill.
Yeah. So, he said it was a bipedal creature, and he tried to yell out and be like, yo, man, is that you?
Bill, is that you with your big-ass noggin?
Yeah, no. The creature didn't respond, but they started moving closer to each other. He noticed the eyes started to faintly glow. But
yo, Bill's eyes don't glow like that.
Yeah, Bill's eyes don't glow like that. But the difference here was the eyes didn't have a color, or they were lacking color. That's how it was described anyway.
So the eyes were glowing, but it was just white?
It was like a white or maybe a gray is the way I'm picturing it.
Oh, man, glowing gray is way creepier now that I thought about it.
And he actually got within 15 feet of the creature. And sitting there wondering what the fuck this is. And you ever have that moment where you're looking at something and trying to process it? That's how it was described in everything I read.
100% understand that thought process. One time at the Little Rock Zoo, Emily and I were there, and a spider monkey got up and just walked like a human across the enclosure, just stood up, taking full stride, swinging his arms. My brain's like, hold on.
Wait a minute.
That's... What?
What?
I mean, and it's 100% it's 100% normal for any primate to walk bipedally.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's a lot of other animals that can walk
But it caught me off guard because I'm like, wait, I've never seen you do that before in my life. Like, he's just like walking like over to the side, like he's like somebody walking to like a vending machine type thing. Like,
that's okay. Just a weird tangent. Like, you will see apes and monkeys do things that are like okay, they do human-like things generally because we're related.
yeah.
But sometimes they'll do something just a little bit too human.
This is why I love and fear orangutans, because they're smart. Like, I love the myth about orangutans. Have I told you this one before?
No.
That they know how to talk, but they don't because we'd make them pay taxes.
I've never heard that.
It is a myth about orangutans that they are smart enough to actually speak, but they don't because then they know we would make them pay taxes and get jobs. But like the fact that orangutans can have multiple times built skeleton keys to get out of their enclosures to go raid the hot dog cart at zoos.
I like how it's we're not going to escape. It's like, we just want some fucking hot dogs.
I want some hot dogs. Look, I heard about this thing called gushers, my dude.
Now I'm just picturing a orangutan or like a chimpanzee at a hot dog stand just fixing a hot dog after they escape.
This is the reason you got to be careful about that, though. You know what an orangutan can do?
What's that?
Yeet my ass 15 feet.
No, fucking any sort of grade 8. I don't.
I don't like. I'm just saying this. Like, you look at orangutans, you're like chimpanzees. You look at that terrible little psychopath of our cousin that they are, right? Yeah. And everybody knows they can mess me up. Orangutans are always like moving in slow motion until they don't.
Yeah.
And they can mess up, like, God, I remember back in the day, remember when, like, Fox had, like, sumo wrestlers? So they always had, like, the apex of some human strength versus an animal.
I think that was Spike TV.
No, it was Fox. Wait, this is back in the 90s, like, back when Dean Cain still did Ripley's Believe It or Not. And, like, right behind it was, like, humans versus animals, and, like, one orangutan pulled 2 sumo wrestlers into a vat of oatmeal, like, doing tug-of-war, and the orangutan's just sitting there like, Nope. I'm just pulling it, like, just sitting down, like, you gave me a rope and I'm going to see what happens. It's like 2 full grown-ass sumo wrestlers go face first into oatmeal, and you're just like,
yeah.
The orangutan's over here. What happened?
It's like any sort of grade 8, if you're talking about gorillas or chimpanzees, like a chimpanzee might be small, but holy shit.
They're 3 times stronger than a full-grown man.
It's why when I see, like, you know, people interacting with chimpanzees, I have a fear of chimpanzees. I'm sorry.
They'll eat your face. Okay, let me rephrase that. If you insult or instigate them, they will end you. Yeah. Most of the time, chimpanzees want to just be left alone, but, you know, you try to tread on them, and they apparently...
They're like, oh, you don't tread on me, I'll tread on you. With my fists and my claws and my teeth and just
you're dead. You're
me.
Dead. You're dead. Okay, I made my point.
You're not just dead. You're just a pile of gore now.
Yeah, like, Back to the story though.
Back to the story. I was about to say we're kind of going off on a tangent about it. This is about the Dover Demon. We're talking about chimpanzees.
Look, dude, there's a possibility.
There's a possibility that the Dover Demon is a chimpanzee. Yeah, you're right. So Baxter got within 15 feet of the creature, trying to figure out what exactly it was. The creature approached him as well. And after they got to a point, I forget what actually happened, but the creature actually sprinted off into a gully near to where he was and kind of grabbed a tree and just, you know, that's when, like, the features kind of, like, came back. We from Bartlett's story, where it was like the long spindly fingers, kind of weird, sort of emaciated form started to really show itself. And despite him trying to chase it, gone. Now, like Bill Bartlett, he decided to actually sketch it as well. He's not as good of an artist, but that's his sketch right there.
Okay, you're telling me he's not that good of an artist, but I'm looking at everything, and it's all the same creature. Now, the one below it that has like a big old... Yeah. One of them's a centaur.
Yeah, we're going to get into Abby's next, which Abby is the next one, also 15. was riding with her boyfriend named Will Tainter.
Will Tainer.
Sorry. I read this and I was like, Will Tainer.
Some people have unfortunate names, man.
I mean, I have a pretty unfortunate name. I'm not going to have it soon, but, you know, it is what it is. So she was riding home with her boyfriend, and she saw the creature on the side of the road. Both of them saw it, but she actually got, like, a full view of it. So Abby was sitting there and saw the creature. The differences between all the other ones is the eyes were actually different. She thought they were green. So Bill thought they were orange. John thought they were basically colorless, and she thought they were green.
Here's the deal. Was anybody in this equation colorblind?
I didn't find any information on that.
Because we're hitting several interpretations that could be
due to perception.
Due to
personal
perception.
perception.
Yeah, personal perception, because the connules aren't the same.
Yeah. She said it looked like a hairless monkey, walked on all fours, so we have 2 out of 3 witnesses saying that it's not bipedal. Will Tainer did see the creature. He saw it briefly, but thing is, Will and Bill were actually, out of all the people in the story, no one was actually friends. Like, you know, they're about.
This wasn't a friend group that like everything circled through. Like, hey, look, I saw like a weird little gray dude in the woods.
The only connection was between Bill, the first witness, and Will. And he had known about the instance because this happened, like, the time between Bill and Abby's encounter was about a day. So this all happened within a 24 hour.
And let's be honest, teenagers and kids, shit spreads quick.
Yeah, but he didn't, like, Will didn't tell her about it. He just heard it from Bill and was like, okay, that's a weird story. And then, like, he ended up seeing it with her, and they ended up talking about it. Everything some of the stuff I read is like Will was kind of like trying to like test her on it. I don't know if it was like a narrative thing with some of the articles.
I really like rock music. Name me 5 songs.
No, it was more like trying to ask misleading questions to see if she, like, trying to gaslight her, basically, which I'm like...
What treasure did Tifa Lockhart find in the temple?
Or it was like, yeah, that head was real square, wasn't it? And she was like, what do you mean it had a big watermelon head? She's like, and he's like, no, it was definitely square. It was like Gumby.
Oh, wow. Abby, run, girl.
Run. I mean, I don't know if that's true. That was from one of the articles I read, but yeah. So she decided to, she stuck by her guns according to the article, and she's like, no, this is exactly what I saw. And she decided to,
she doodled a centaur.
Yeah, she doodled a little centaur.
You know what? That's my favorite one so far.
It's my favorite one because she's like...
My little cryptid, my little cryptid.
And she actually made notes here. She said a little lighter tan. She pointed at the eyes and said green. And then at the body, tannish color. So she was like, this is what I saw. And yeah, I mean, 15-year-old that has never drawn before. I mean, that's pretty much what you would expect. So... this all happened within a 24-hour period, right? We have this creature that shows up with Bill. He's driving down the road. It's on some sort of wall of some sort. And then it's like an hour later or so, it's confronting someone else. Like, it's confronting, what's his name? John. I'm bad with names, y'all. And then with Abby, they see it the next day or the next night on the road. Now, this is where Lauren Coleman comes in. Lauren Coleman, by chance, lived within the area. Like, when I say lived within the area, like, I didn't look it up. I'm bad at the...
He lived within New England.
He lived within New England, and he visited Dover. And when he was at a place, I'm assuming someone, an employee there at this store, knew who he was and, relayed the story to him. It's like, hey, this kid, Bill Bartlett, had this weird story that happened, and, kind of gave him the rundown, and this intrigued him. Obviously, if you're a cryptozoologist, I'm assuming you just hear like a crazy story, and you're like, "That's my case now.
My jam.
That's my jam. I'm gonna jam on this jam." And so
that sounded dirty.
He ended up getting some. He got some of the Bartlett's drawings, and then the next day he was in town interviewing Bartlett. And from there, after interviewing everybody, he got the ufologist in there to just scan the town to see if anyone else saw anything, or if they could verify the people, see the integrity of the witnesses and everything. And they found not only are the witnesses good, they weren't friends, they were generally good people. Or they were good kids in terms of they wouldn't lie, they wouldn't do anything like that. They didn't really know each other very well. Even Abby and Bill Bartlett, they had connections and they knew of each other, but they weren't
They probably went to the same high school.
Yeah. I mean, a town of 5,000, they probably all went to the same high school. They were about the same age, but they didn't know each other like that. And outside of that, they actually decided to map the area to where all the sightings happened, all 3 sightings, and you could actually see an area where this creature potentially could have went by the way they mapped it. So it's this event happened here, then John's was right here, and then Abby's was further off in this area. And they were able to kind of triangulate everything and kind of corroborate everything like that. Now, they couldn't really find anything else, and there hasn't been any other story. And unlike a lot of different stories, this didn't result the Fouke monster or the infield horror. There was this uproar of people that kind of came to the town. I didn't see anything like that happening.
Is it because it was, instead of being a weird kangaroo or a Bigfoot, it was just oh man, it's just a gray?
I think that's a little bit of it, but also I think it's just the people. Okay, so the people in the Fouke monster stories and in infield horror, they actually sought out media in some sort of
these
way.
Kids were hey, we saw something weird.
Yeah, they just talked to apparently Bill Bartlett talked to his friend Will Tainer, and I'm sorry to any Tainers out there.
He just talked to Willie Taint.
Willie Taint. Oh yeah.
That's actually not a bad band name. And on the bass, Willie Taint.
That sounds like a psychobilly band right there. Willie Taint and the Gross Boys.
Really, Willie Taint and the Grundles.
Willie Taint and the Grundles is so good.
Oh man, we just found our rockabilly group name.
Oh my god.
Who's Willie?
I gotta get me a fucking telly now. But yeah, so I don't think there was a lot of these kids weren't going out and seeking media. And Lauren Coleman was there by chance.
He just lived there.
Lived around there, and then was got some ufologists there to kind of check it out. And the thing is, it's Lauren didn't think there was this was an extraterrestrial thing, because there wasn't any UFO sightings, and despite it looking like a gray, it kind of has that gray or little green man look.
Yeah.
He was it's probably just some weird enigma. Kind of infield horror just didn't really have anything.
That was a kangaroo, though.
That was probably a kangaroo. This, I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of the end of the whole story. But what could be I was about to say infield horror. What could be the Dover Demon? despite its name, which it was actually given to it by Lauren Coleman. I think he just liked it because it was phonetically pleasing.
Dover Demon does roll off the tongue.
Yeah. There's nothing about it being a demon. There's nothing really about it at all aside from like the skeptical explanations. So people have said it's a fox with mange.
Could be.
A barn owl.
You know what? I could see that because when we eventually talk about Mothman, there's a lot of people who jump on that one.
Yeah. That's a big one for Mothman, I think. The only reason why those two don't really make sense to me is because of the proportions of this creature.
It was 2 barn owls in a coat.
It was 2 barn owls in a coat, wrapped in saran wrap. A horse calf or a moose calf were...
Okay, you know what? A moose calf, I could... Minus the long digit fingers.
You see, that's the thing that gets me on all of them. I don't know how the long digits would work. And apparently they would wrap around the rocks, too, in a very particular way. So
I mean, like, looking at that head from all the drawings, I could see a moose.
Yeah.
Because if you ever see a moose's head, it looks like a horse got stung by a bunch of bees.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at a barn owl, I mean, it's like this big white, like, almost peanut-shaped creature with big-ass eyes that just illuminate everything when you shine something.
Well, I'm kind of with you. None of those really do it for me. Like, even if you told me it was like a bobcat with mange, I don't think bobcats are up in Maine.
Yeah. And again, like, when you're getting into the more supernatural side, there's nothing about demons or anything. And even Lauren Coleman didn't really buy the whole extraterrestrial thing. Because again, there's nothing about it aside from its look that, like, really pointed to that.
It seems like Lauren was probably saying, look, dude, y'all saw something fucking weird.
Yeah. And he was just like, it's the Dover Demon, because that sounds good.
That sounds dope. I can make a book off of this.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's stuck, and it's actually gotten bigger than...
Right. I mean, it's...
But here's a connection that I saw on the cryptid wiki, which I thought was interesting. It does tie it to something in the Cree people. You know,
okay, I thought you were going to be like, it's a Luton.
No, it's not a Luton. The Cree people, the indigenous people that I believe are in Canada and the eastern part of the North America. One of the biggest First Nations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna butcher this, but apparently, like, it shares a lot of similarities with something there, which is Meningishi.
I thought you were going to say Pugwudgie.
It might be the same thing. I don't know. I didn't look too much into this because I've said before that I'm very scared of looking up anything indigenous because I don't want to misrepresent it.
Right.
Yeah. And like, or at least I don't want to dedicate a podcast to it because we do very cursory looks compared to like other ones. And if I ever decide to like sit down and look at something indigenous, I would like to put in the work for it as opposed to like infield horror. Like, infield horror is fun, but I don't want to like misrepresent a culture or anything like that. But with this, it's apparently a creature in the Cree folklore that is a trickster. Like, it sounded to me like a trickster spirit that would capsize canoes for fun.
Frickin' Parlingua.
It's a damn Parlingua. Dang old Parlingua. But it does have a bit of a resemblance to this creature. Now, this was like, you know, almost a footnote in the cryptid wiki.
Of course it is.
But, like, when I went to the page for the Meningishi, I mean, it was basically a picture. It was this picture, but it looked like it was done on GIMP. Like... so
takes me back.
I still use GIMP for so much stuff because I'm cheap. But yeah, my sources are Cryptid Wiki and Wikipedia, GBH News, Milford Daily News, 1420 WBSM, and Cedar Walls for the pictures. And yeah, I accidentally put this on here. Vehicle and equipment. They send these at my work. Y'all can't see this, but it's at like...
It's an ad to rent a backhoe.
It's an ad to rent a backhoe. Sometimes my job gets that, and I print everything at my job because I don't have a printer. But yeah, that's the Dover Demon.
Look, I enjoyed this, man. I love the Dover Demon, and since we got some other stuff to do tonight, because hey everybody, we're gonna go get pizza.
We're getting pizza,
and after that, I don't know.
I don't know what the fuck
we might throw on that episode of Lost Tapes with the Dover Demon because it's so bad.
Oh my god! But yeah, I like the Dover. I think I've started to see a pattern here with the way we look for things. You go for the more historical examples, obviously, because that's kind of your forte. And then I'm just like, what's this weird, random, dumb shit that someone saw?
No, I have a couple of those in the list, dude. Like, there's a monster that apparently only follows one set of power lines in Indiana.
Oh, that's so fucking awesome. But anyway, we are Backwoods Obscura. We released every Tuesday, and we're on most podcatchers, and hopefully sometime soon I'll get the social media up. But in the meantime, if you want to catch more of us, we are also Team Bonus Action.
Team Bonus Action is a charity tabletop and video game playing group. Currently, we play on Mondays, every other Wednesday, and Sundays. And we are partnered with St. Jude's Children's Hospital at the time of this recording. So if you can donate, please do. You can find out more information at teambonusaction.com. Or you can find us as Team Bonus Action on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Blue Sky, Threads. And you can also find us at bonus_team on the hellscape that is Twitter.
Yeah, and I hope you have a good day, night, or whatever time it is. Yeah.
Don't let the Dover Demon get you.
Don't let it get you.
With its long fingers.